In this question, we're assuming that peanut butter is a monopolistically competitive industry, but that one day our friend Skippy Jiff determines that peanut butter is all absolutely identical, and so we would shift to a perfectly competitive market. So the question then is, how does price, quantity, average total cost, marginal cost, and profit change when the industry shifts from monopolistically competitive to perfectly competitive? Well, if it's going to be perfectly competitive, we know that price is going to equal marginal revenue, it's going to equal marginal cost, and if it's in long-run equilibrium, there will be zero economic profit. And so we would have a horizontal demand curve, not the downward sloping demand curve that you see here, and that would intersect at the minimum point of ATC. And when it does that, it would look like this. When the market shifts to perfect competition, we then see that the price would drop from P1 to P2. We would see that the quantity would increase from Q1 to Q2. Shouldn't be a surprise because we know that monopolies produce at a higher price and lower output than perfectly competitive markets. We would see that the average total cost would be less than it was before because we would use up all the excess capacity and take advantage of the economies of scale that existed when we were at P1. And as we lowered to P2, we would go down to that minimum cost output that we would have in perfect competition. We would see that the marginal cost would rise. We were only producing at a marginal cost down here when we were monopolistically competitive, but now marginal costs have increased. But again, that shouldn't be a surprise because we've increased output, and with diminishing marginal returns, our marginal costs should increase. And we'll see that there's no change in profit. We had no profit initially because price equals average total cost, and we'll have no profit here in the perfectly competitive market in the long run because price will also equal average total cost.